Hello, welcome to Disney A to Z. Today I'm going to be covering 10 hidden secrets you may not know about Animal Kingdom. Previously, I did secrets on the other three parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. And if you want to check those out, there's a link in the description below. But today, it's Animal Kingdom's turn. So let's pull back the surface and find out what the Imagineers intentionally or unintentionally left for us to find. Here we go. Number one, Beastly Kingdom. So let's start off with one of the big ones right out the way. And for you keen observers, when you're in the parks, you can still see evidence of what was supposed to be Beastly Kingdom in the park today. So in the entrance area of the park, there's a dedication plaque, and they have one of these at each park. But the one at Animal Kingdom reads, "Welcome to a kingdom of animals, real, ancient, and imaginary. A kingdom ruled by lions, dinosaurs, and dragons." That's right, dragons. So, Animal Kingdom was to originally have a land dedicated to mythical animals called Beastly Kingdom. Long story short, budget cuts caused this land to be shelved, and it was replaced with Camp Minnie and Mickey when Animal Kingdom first opened. Camp Minnie and Mickey was supposed to be a temporary thing until the expansion, which was going to be Beastly Kingdom. But there are still remnants visible today that reference this area. So in the parking lot, you have different mythical creature areas. I know one of them was unicorn. I parked in the unicorn section last time I was there. The entrance to the park still has a dragon head symbol if you look off to the far left at the entrance. The benches that used to be throughout the park still had a dragon right front and center of the icon. My favorite that is still somewhat visible if you're going to Pandora, the Avatar area, you walk across the bridge. As you start walking across that bridge, if you look off to the right hand side on the far bank, you will see a stone dragon. Now, this actually used to breathe fire, and you could see smoke coming out the nostrils. This was a nice little addition. It's kind of overgrown at this point, but these are some of the key things that were there. But that was one of the markers that was going to be the entrance to the Beastly Kingdom area. Number two, Disco Yeti. If you've ever ridden Expedition Everest, you know the part of the ride where the Yeti attacks your train vehicle. But did you know that this was originally different, and what we have now is more of a permanent B mode? B mode refers to when a major attraction has a part malfunction, they can switch to a B mode or backup mode that will allow the attraction to still run in a limited capacity. I know famously the one that has that a lot is Rise the Resistance, but that's another story for another day. But in Expedition Everest and Animal Kingdom, the Yeti used to lunge out and attack your train cart, but now he's permanently stationary with the strobe light on it. So the problem was that Imagineers made the rare and costly mistake of misjudging the wear and tear that lunging motion was going to cause on the structure. Um, the Yeti weighs near over 6,000 pounds, and that constant lunging action caused a crack in the concrete foundation underneath the Yeti. So within just a few short years, that lunging created that crack, and then that crack then put stress on the frame of the Yeti and causing further damage. So Disney had to make the decision to shut down the motion of the Yeti on that ride. So the B mode was to have the Yeti remain still and just have the flashing light on it. And because of the flashing strobe light, someone somewhere along the line referred to that as the Disco Yeti, and that name has stuck ever since. So, a little bonus trivia: why hasn't the Yeti ever been fixed? Because of the way Everest was constructed, Disney would have to remove pretty much the entire top third of the Everest mountain to be able to get into where the problem is. And unfortunately, this would just be too insanely expensive and too time consuming to do. So it looks like we are stuck with Disco Yeti for the foreseeable future. Number 3, oil rig icon. The baobab tree at the center of the park, better known as the Tree of Life, has a peculiar secret hiding just underneath the bark. See, Imagineers had to figure out how to make this perfectly represent a baobab tree while also creating enough space in the interior for the show It's Tough to Be a Bug. What they came up with was nothing short of genius. They were able to purchase an oil rig frame, the same kind that's used for offshore drilling, and then they flipped it upside down so they had room inside for the show. And that is what is at the heart of the Tree of Life. And some more little bonus trivia for you. Each branch on the Tree of Life also was built with expansion joints so that when the wind blows, the branches will actually sway slightly in the breeze, just like a natural tree would. Um, and also, the Tree of Life is the only Disney World park icon that's not a building. And take that a little step further, it's also the only park icon that can't be seen from the entrance of the park. So next time that you're headed into Animal Kingdom, think about that. You actually can't see the main park icon when you're walking through the turnstiles. So there you go. Number 4, Boneyard Map. Now, this is a neat little one, and unfortunately, it's going to be going away soon whenever they retheme Dino Land into the Tropical Americas. But right outside the boneyard, there's the sign for the boneyard itself looks like a giant skeleton or dinosaur bone. Um, Now, this particular bone actually serves a bit of a fun purpose. It actually shows the shape of Animal Kingdom when it first opened. Now, if you take the bone and turn it 90 degrees, there's actually a little N inscribed on the bone to point north. But you turn that bone 90 degrees and you can overlay it on top of the Animal Kingdom map. So it's not just any dinosaur bone, it's also a park map. Now, I know what you're going to say. When we do this and overlay it, it doesn't fit. But if you think about when the park first opened, Asia was not there. Asia was the first park expansion, which happened a year later. So if you take Asia out of the picture and you take the majority of Pandora out of the picture because it wasn't there either, then this bone starts to take more shape. Number 5, Dino Land condiments. Now, this one is so deep and so nerdy that I hope they keep it between the retheme from Dino Land to Tropical Americas. But you really have to pay attention and know your stuff to see this one. So when you go into the dinosaur ride, which is going to become Indiana Jones, which if you want to hear about that, we got a whole video about the announcements that were made at D23 and what's coming to Animal Kingdom. Check that out in the description. But anyway, so if you're on the dinosaur ride, well, in the queue actually, you're going to notice some colored pipes that are running above you. They're red, yellow, and white. You look closer at these pipes and you're going to notice a bunch of letters and numbers stringed together. But these are actually the chemical formulas for ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise, respectively. Now, this is a leftover Easter egg and kind of pays tribute to the original sponsor of Dinoland, which was McDonald's. So next time you're in the dinosaur queue, you can point that out to your family and friends and look like the genius of the party because you know that that chemical formula is ketchup and that one is mustard and the other one is mayonnaise. Before we get to the second half of the list, I just want to take a quick pause and remind you that if you do love these kinds of videos, the hidden secrets, the backstories, all the trivia stuff with Disney, please subscribe to the channel. And if you could, like the video, that helps other people get a chance to see it. And if you have a favorite Easter egg for Disney, drop it in the comments below. I'll get it included in the next video. But anyway, let's get back to the list. Number 6. Floating mountains. Now, Pandora at the Avatar land is such a visual masterpiece. from the bioluminescence, which unfortunately you only get to see a couple times a year when it gets dark early, to the alien plant life, to the floating mountains. Everything just looks awesome. Now, this one's not so much a secret, it's more of a how did they do that? But so when you're in Pandora and you're looking at these things and you ask yourself, how did they build these floating mountains? The answer is actually surprisingly simple. See, the floating mountains are actually hollow. Now, there is a steel frame structure, but there's no real substance inside it. So it's just a steel frame structure covered with the wire netting, and then they covered that with concrete to shape it. That's all the floating mountains are. Now, how they get them to quote unquote float is the steel beam structures that hold them up. Those are hidden within the vines. So the vines look like they're hanging off the floating mountains when in reality, they're actually holding up the floating mountains. So it's just a cool little mystery of how Disney does it just to create something extra for you to notice. Number 7, Lion Trap. So, have you ever been riding Kilimanjaro safaris and you finally get to Pride Rock, the lion enclosure, and wonder how exactly do they keep the lions in? Because from where it looks like they could jump right out at you. So Disney does this kind of sleight of hand way. There's two different ways. So number one is perspective. So you're kind of sitting lower, looking up towards the lions, which hides some of the magic that Disney creates to keep the lions in place. So the second part is behind that little upward slope. There actually is between you and the lions, there is a 20-foot wide moat, about 18 feet deep. But that is what one of the things that keeps the lions from being able to jump across. Now they do other things as far as they keep the feeders close by. There's actually some air conditioning because the lions aren't naturally used to the humidity of Central Florida. So some of the areas are air conditioning and they place the food in certain places. But the main thing is that giant moat that surrounds the lions is what keeps them from coming across and getting too close to you because nobody wants to be a lion snack, right? Number 8, boat taxis. Have you ever noticed the boats that the characters ride throughout the waterways of Animal Kingdom? You know, you're walking across the bridge and you look down and you see the characters, the boat's playing music, you're waving hi. It's a cool little interaction. But did you know that you used to be able to ride the boats in the waterways? When Animal Kingdom first opened, Discovery River boat tours was actually a thing. So when you first get into the park, there were docks on each side of Discovery Island, and you could take a boat tour of Animal Kingdom. Unfortunately, there wasn't much to tour. So within the first year of being open, the Discovery Boat River Tour was renamed to Discovery Boat Taxi so that you didn't get the idea that you were going to be seeing much. And unfortunately, even that didn't really do it for the public, so it shut down rather quickly. Now the waterways are just used for the character boats to provide a nice little interaction. Hopefully, Disney comes up with something maybe to use this a little bit better because I think it's more of a missed opportunity than anything at this point. You have the rivers, you know, put something in there, but who knows? Maybe we'll see something soon. Number 9, Highway 498. If you look around Animal Kingdom, you're going to see the number 98 or 498 in many places throughout the park. The most obvious one is probably the Highway Interstate sign in Dino Land, which is probably gone away soon, that marks Interstate 498. But why 498? Well, it's the same reason you see 71 in Magic Kingdom, 81 in Epcot, and 89 in Hollywood Studios. It's the year that these parks opened. Animal Kingdom opened in April of 1988. More specifically, it opened on Earth Day, April 22nd, 1998. So that's how you get 498. Sometimes you may even find 42298. You just have to be paying attention and looking at the little details throughout the park. Number 10, the biggest of them all. It may not seem like it, but did you know that Animal Kingdom is actually the largest of the 4 Disney World parks? And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to walk from Pandora to Africa using the side trail that comes out near Festival of the Lion King. I swear, last time I walked it, I felt like I walked 2, 3, 4 miles. It just seemed like it went on forever. But when designing Animal Kingdom, Imagineers took great care to duplicate the animals' natural habitats. So, not all these animals lived in little cramped up areas. They had to give them space and room to move so that they could live naturally. But this is one of the leading factors behind the size of Animal Kingdom. Another factor is they wanted you to actually get lost and explore the park. That's why when you first get into the park, you go into the oasis and there's a bunch of little winding paths. They want you to explore and discover the areas of the park. That's harder to do if everything is crammed together in one oval or circular park area. In fact, actually, Animal Kingdom is so large that Kilimanjaro Safaris by itself is a few acres larger than the entirety of the Magic Kingdom. So there you have it, 10 hidden Easter eggs about Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's going to be it for today's video. As always, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something new. If you have a favorite Disney Easter egg about Animal Kingdom, please drop it in the comments. I'll get it included in the next video. As always, I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get access to all our newest content. And like the video if you enjoy this kind of thing. That allows it to reach out to new viewers so they can find it as well. But thank you again, and we'll see you real soon.